Hello, welcome to this presentation. I am your presenter Morris Dimba. Today I'm going to take you through a very simple way of creating steel truss using lines as a guideline while placing steel members on a well-structured truss. Welcome once again to this presentation. If you take a look here, we have grid line already laid out. You may ask, what are the properties or what are the dimensions of this grid? To get all those information, just come and double click on this grid line or grid. These grid properties will come up with all the details of the grid line. We have the coordinates, label, and line extensions. First of all, coordinates. We have the y-axis and the x-axis here with all the informations laid or placed adjacent to every axis. On the x-axis, you'll see that we have 10 line intersections and a 6-meter interval between the intersections. And on the y-axis, we have y-axis here. We have 3 line intersection of x-axis intersecting with the y-axis line with 6-meter interval, that is 6 meter from 3 to 2 and 6 meter from 2 to 1. And the 3 are these lines 1 1 2 3 or 1 2 3. That's all about the coordinate explanation or the details of the grid. On the labels, that's all about it. We just label using alphabetical order or your own way of labeling your grid. This is customizable. It's dependent on how you want your grid to appear to whoever you are doing the drawing for. Now on the height, which is the Z, we have the 0 0 level here and the topmost height of the column. The rest are not necessary because we are doing a demonstration how to come up with a steel truss using lines in a simple way. The line extensions are these, from here to here and here to here. I'm doing this explanation especially for those who are viewing this channel for the first time and you've bumped on this video. So this will help you get some information on how all this came about. Now, after explaining that, I'll go straight away on placing the columns and starting laying out the lines that will guide us on how to place our steel members on a well-structured steel truss. Let's kick off. But prior to that, there are something called views. There are some views you prefer to view your structure from. Maybe you want to view it from this direction, like that, or you want to view it from this direction. It's upon how you find it easy while placing the steel members on your structure or truss. So I prefer my viewing to be from this end. Now what I'll do, because I had already created my view, I'll come to view and pick view 2, which is this end. Now once I've created this, and let me take you back briefly. To create this view, I'll just come here and right click, then I'll come there, right click, and come to create view. I'll come to along grid lines. Once you've clicked this dialog box of view creation will come up. Once it has come up, just go back, just hit on the create button. This will come up with variety of views to select from. So it's upon you to select the direction or the position you feel comfortable when viewing your structure. I picked grid D to come to this side. So if you pick grid A, you just click this arrow and it will come this end. Now at the moment I don't need the grid A view. I'll take it back. Let's now work with our previous grid D just to make to move a bit faster. I'll cancel that. Remember, once you've created your view, just cancel or close that dialog box. Now I'll go straight to edit to enable me access easily the line tools. I'll come to construction line. I'll pick the line here. From here, I'll just hit at that, I'll snap at that spot and run all the way to this spot. I will have created my line. But prior to that, I want to place my couplet here. To place my couplet, it will force me to go back to isometric view. To isometric view, I'll be able to view the topmost height of the column where we are going to place our couplet. To place the couplet, just come to this button, applications and component, and just click on that. This applications and component dialog box will come up. Just click on search and type just cap, only that, and this couplet detail will come up. Just click on it once and go straight to the top of the column and click on it. Once you click on it, the snaps will be active and will be able to locate the midpoint and the end points of this column. Now we want to place this couplet right in the middle of this topmost height of the column. I'll click right there and boom, that is the couplet. Now here you can customize this to whatever dimension or measurements of your preference. Now I'll double click on this. Once I've double clicked on this, I'll zoom out to place my couplet to a position that I'll be able to view it perfectly while feeding all the specifications of my preference about the couplet. Now if we go to this tab, you'll see the profile of the couplet. We have the thickness 10 millimeter thick, we have the breadth, we have the height. Now we'll adjust the thickness of the plate to 16 millimeter thick. Now take a look here. This is the length, which is the height now, and the arrow has been directed just below that, and the width has been directed just below this. Now we want this to be close to 450. We'll only enter that and leave that to default, and just click modify. You'll see here the thickness has adjusted and the height respectively. Now what I'm going to do next is just to increase this this length to 500 or 580 or 480. Perfect. Apply and accept. Now I'll go to view. I'll come to navigate using mouse. I'll turn this down. You'll see we've placed our couplet here with well placed underneath the couplet and well welded against the column. That is perfect and it is exactly what we intended to do. Now I want to do a similar thing to the other end, but instead of repeating this thing or feeding all those details, the better thing or the most good thing with TEKLA structure, the moment you feed all the specs of your preference, it will use that as a default on the next connection of similar properties. Now I'll do the same thing. I'll go back to couplet and click couplet and go to the other column and just click on the column and click right in the middle there. It will place exactly what I did on the other column. I'll right click and redraw this. This is exactly what we intended to do. Now I'll switch back to my view 2, which is grid D. I'll right click there and redraw. Redraw means refreshing. Now from here we'll go to lines, and to access our line tools, I'll go to edit. Now you'll be able to you will not be able to see this clearly. Now put your cursor on top of these toolbars and scroll. You'll be able to access these construction objects, which are lines. Just click on that and you'll be able to see line, plane, and other properties that will be useful to you while creating any kind of line. Now this first one will be very much useful to us. I'll click line, then zoom out and locate a point where we would like to place our line. I'll click on that spot and zoom out and go straight away to this end and place it here. Right click and interrupt. I'll double click on this line and adjust some dimensions. I'll adjust this extension to 0 because I don't need any extension of any line, because it might confuse you or us in placing our steel members on the truss. Click modify, apply and accept. That's all. Now the line we placed will not extend as our grid line measurement extensions. Now from here I'll come to edit. I'll go back to line. Our truss pitch will be 2.5 meters. 2.5 meters. That's the utmost height of the pitch. Now I'll come back to line again. I'll pick that and come right here where we placed our initial line and click right there. We'll feed 600. Perfect. 600. Right click and do the same thing. And do the same thing at this end. Just snap at that spot and direct your cursor on top. And one thing I want to just inform you that TEKLA has improved on TEKLA Structure 2017 is the line on the line work. On previous versions, when the moment, let me escape this. The moment I want a straight line on previous version, you will not be able to get a very straight line. You'll be able to struggle a bit to define your straight line. Now on TEKLA Structure 2017, the moment I click here and give it an orientation as a straight line, the line will be straight like this. It snap on a 90 degrees. I'm comfortable with that direction and that straightness of the line. I'll just feed my measurements of that line as 600 and enter that. Now I'll join this line to this and this. Now I'll come to construction and pick that line. I'll snap at this topmost and snap here and come all the way here and snap here. Perfect. This is exactly what we intended to do. Now from here I want to copy this line from here at an interval or at an interval of 1.5 or 2 meters. I'll feed 2 meters. 2 meters too big. I'll feed 1.5 meters. I'll enter that. I'll offset the same thing. I'll click that, right click and click copy. I'll click this and give it an orientation to that direction and feed 1.5 meters. That's all. That's all. And that's exactly what intend to do. I'll come here and interrupt just to end that line command. Now from here I'll pick that, then come to copy, snap at that spot, give it a direction on that side, and I'll feed 1.5 meters. I'll come back again and do the same thing. Hit there and give it that direction. Give it that direction, 1.5 meters. Perfect. Right click and interrupt. Interrupt means you disable that active command. Now once we've done on this, the rest will just mirror, so we don't need this on this side. We'll delete that. From here we want now to place this struts on the truss. We'll come back to line, come back to line property. From here, I'll just snap on that spot and bring another one there. From there, I'll come back to line again and snap right here and place another line there. Perfect. I'll come back to line and come here and snap another one there. Perfect. Now come back to line again and bring this here. Bring this somewhere here, which is not, it's not snapping properly. Just escape that. Just escape that, activate that, and snap right there, and snap here. Go back to line, pick line, snap right there, and bring it down here. Go back to line and do just the same thing. Snap here and snap right there. This is our truss, and this is what we wanted to do. Double click this and you can drag this line down there. You can also do the same thing and drag this line down there. Close this. Click on this and drag this line to that spot. Perfect. Do the same thing here and snap it there. Now this is what we have now. If you want to go back to your isometric view, come to Windows, you will be able to see the views you selected. We only selected single view, view 2 on grid D. Now I'll come to view 1, isometric view, and I'll be able to see my truss or our truss on a line work. Now we want to place steel members here. We'll switch back to isometric view to make things work simple. Now I'll come to steel, I'll come to steel beam. I'll pick steel beam and pick and snap on that spot, run all the way to the pitch right there. Double click on this and come to profile and pick that. We will work with L profile. Under L profile, we'll minimize this, we'll minimize that. We have L profile here, we'll look for that. We have L profile. Under L profile, we'll go to RSS, and RSS will go to the 75 by 50 and by 6 millimeter thick. We'll pick that, accept, and do the same thing here. Apply and OK, apply and give an OK. Now here, the orientation of our steel or the position of our steel is very important. Now this will force us to go to isometric view for us to rotate this steel member to a better position that will enable us place our struts and the other steel members to join appropriately. Now I'll double click on this, and these beam properties will come up with several options of manipulating this steel and its position that we prefer. Now I'll come to position. Under position, we have two positions here. We are playing rotation and at depth. Now at rotation, I'll give it back. Let's check if that position is much better for us. Let me apply and go to view and turn this model to a position that we'll be able to view it appropriately. It's not really in a good position for us. Double click on this, then come back to position and turn this to back. Turn this to below. Exactly what we wanted. Now if we come to navigate and rotate about that spot, we wanted this line to run exactly on top of this on the smaller side. This is an equal RSA or L-shaped. So we wanted the smaller side to be on top. Now we'll switch back to our view D. We'll go back to steel. We come to steel beam and snap right there and run all the way to this end. And let me assume that on the drawing I'll run full length, but on the fabrication the standard length of these steel members is normally 6 meters and 12 meters. Now let's assume you'll be using 12 meters, then they will meet at this point and the joint will be welded. So on the drawing I'll just put it straight full length, but on fabrication and while detailing we will be able to terminate in between here to have 6 meter or 12 meter and another extension at that end. Now from here we want to extend this bit to overlap or to have an extension down here. We'll double click on this, then come to position here, come to start, type 600 and click OK. It going in the opposite direction, just add negative and go back and click modify. It has gone in the right direction. Perfect. Do the same thing here, but prior to doing that, make sure that this steel member sits right on the top of the cap plate. And to do that and to ensure that is done right, switch back to your isometric view for you to be able to view this thing rotating in the right manner. Double click on that steel member and come to position. Under position, go straight to rotation. Under positions, come here and click below, back, top. It is in the right position, but depth is not right. We'll give it front. Apply and accept. Then come to a view, come to navigate, rotate with mouse and rotate about that spot. Turn this round like this and you'll notice that it is not exactly at the middle point. Is not exactly at the middle point, which is not really bad. Our intention is to create a truss first, then everything will position later on. Let's switch back to our view 2 or grid D. From here we are going to place the struts. I'll come to steel beam. I'll snap right at the top here and run all the way to this end. Come to steel beam, do the same thing. From there to right there. Come there. Snap right there and right there. Interrupt that, come to steel beam, snap right here, right there, and right there. A steel beam, just snap here. Make sure you snap on the right spot. Come to steel beam again and do just the same thing. We'll snap there. Come to steel beam, snap right there, and snap just here. It shouldn't take a lot of time doing this. Snap right there. Now come back to steel beam, snap right there. Do the same thing, because the rest will just mirror, because the truss the same all through. Come to steel beam, snap right here and snap right there. After doing all that, we'll switch back to our isometric view. We'll come to window and come to 3D. From here, we'll be able to navigate around and turn and see whether what we're doing is in the right position and it's okay. From here, let me turn this round to check whether we are doing the right thing. Come to navigate, click there and rotate this. We'll double click on this, come to position, give it middle and give it an orientation of below. Back is not okay, front will work much better. Apply and accept, come to navigate, rotate about that spot and turn this round. Turn this round. Make sure everything is placed in the right position. That is exactly what we're doing here. Turn this. Double click on that, come to position, bring this aside, turn this back, below, apply and accept. Come to navigate, rotate with mouse, rotate about that spot like that. Perfect, but not exactly on the lines we prefer. We'll go back to our grid and do undo and click undo command so that we place them in the right positions. Now I'll come back to isometric view and come to steel beam. I want to snap right there and run all the way to this spot. I must be able to see where I'm placing yes, something wrong we did. Something wrong we did. We did something wrong. Let's turn this like this. Double click on this. Position. Give it back. Change this position to top and front. Apply and accept. Now come to view, rotate with mouse, snap there and rotate this. Still not right. We'll double click on that. Come to position, turn this to front or back, top, apply and accept. Navigate, rotate with mouse, turn this round like this. Is it in the right position? Yes. Perfect. Now what we are going to do, we'll go back to steel, we'll come to steel beam and snap right here, right there, run all the way to this end, run all the way to this end and snap right there, and come back to steel again, come down here, snap right there, snap right there, and run all the way to the top end here. Then come back to steel again and snap right here, snap right there, run to this end. Perfect. We'll come back to steel beam again and do exactly that. Right there, right click and interrupt, click steel beam, snap right there, and run all the way to the top end here. Do the same thing from here to this end. Steel beam from that end to this end. Perfect. We'll do the same thing down there to this end. Interrupt that, come to steel beam again and snap here, just snap down there and run all the way to this end in placing your steel members. Snap there and snap on the right spot there. Now from here we'll extend that by 200 and run all the way to this end and extend this by 200 millimeter. Now having placed that, make sure that your members have the right orientation. That will help us or make it easy when placing the gusset plates that will join the three to the bottom chord. Now I'll give this an orientation that will make it easy to connect the four. Now I'll turn this, give it back or give it front. That's perfect. I'll apply that. I'll come back to that, double click and come to position and turn this and give it back. Not the right position, give it below. Apply and accept and turn this round to see whether what you've done is right. Rotate about that spot. What we've done is slightly right. Double click on this, come to position and give this middle. Perfect. Apply and accept. Now if you take a look here, find everything is in the middle, they're meeting at a middle point there. So when you place your gusset plate, it will connect perfectly well with this bottom chord and the strut. Now when you come back here, that is in position with this but not properly done. What is off the spot is this. Double click on that and come to position and give it middle. Perfect. Apply and accept. Now we want to do one thing. We'll double click on this and come to position and give and feed there 200, negative 200, and click OK. Apply and accept. Then do the same thing at this end. We'll double click on this, come to position and do the same here but not negative, just type 200 and click OK. Apply and accept. Now let's go back where we were here to make sure everything is in position prior to invoking the bracing command. Now what we are lacking here is just a proper orientation. We'll double click on that and come to position and give it this below position. Not proper. give it top, I will give it back, not proper, we'll give it below. That's perfect. Apply and accept. Now come to navigate, now rotate with the mouse, turn that round like that. Now everything is in position, but we just need to do a counter check prior to invoking your connection command. Now I'll do this. I'll counter check all this prior to invoking the connection. Now I'll come to position and give a proper orientation. I'll give it below. Perfect. Apply and accept. These also need to be properly rotated. We'll give it below. Not proper, back. Not proper. Give it top. Front. Perfect. Apply and accept. Not properly done. Not properly done. Double click on that, come to position and give it middle. And come to top and give it back. Perfect. Apply and accept. This and this are meeting on a proper or a good position. Perfect. Now we'll do the same thing here. Double click on this, come to position and give it below. Front. Give it middle. Apply and accept. Come to navigate, rotate about that spot and turn. Double click on that, come to position, rotate this, give it below, apply and accept. Come to navigate, rotate with mouse and turn this round. Perfect. Everything seems to be in the right position, but let's counter check prior to invoking any command. Perfect. Now we can switch, or prior to switching, make sure everything is in place. Everything must be in the right spot. Now I'll switch back to our view D. Now having done that, I'll come to this button and click applications and component and just type 11. 11 is a type of bolted gusset connection or bracing. Now I want to connect this and this. I'll close that. I'll click this as the main part, enter, then click. I'll click this, I'll go back, I'll click that, this and this. Then I'll click my middle button on the mouse. I've created that joint. I'll double click on that, zoom out. I'll adjust this to 20 or any number. I'll adjust that again to 10. Perfect. Apply and accept. Now I'll come back again and do just the same thing. Click this and that, and click the middle button on the mouse. Click this, then come here, do just the same thing. Click that, this, and click your middle button on the mouse. Click this and that, click your middle button on the mouse, click this and that, your middle button, click this and that, and press your middle button on the mouse. Click this and that, your middle button, that and that, then your middle button on the mouse. Click this and that, then press your middle button on the mouse. This and that, then your middle button on the mouse. Right click and interrupt. Now if you take a look here, there's some discrepancy here. On orientation. If I double click here and come to position, you'll be able to see there's some things not adding up here. Apply and accept. That's perfect. Do the same thing here. Come to position. Try give it middle. And change the orientation to back. Not right. To below. To front. To top. Perfect. Apply and accept. Now we'll come back again here, click this, that, this and this, and press your middle button on the mouse. Something wrong. Undo, click this and that, and then your middle button on the mouse. Close that. Then what we are going to do is just to highlight everything here. Just highlight everything here. Then right click, click special copy, and click mirror. We want to mirror this thing, this part of the truss to the other end to make it a complete truss. I'll snap right there and click copy. And just pick or hit your OK, right click and interrupt. Now if you take a look here, there's a connection that has not been complete. We'll come back to that. Click this and this. Press your middle button on the mouse, which is not right. What we're going to do with weld, do weld. Extension weld, this and this. Not properly done. Not properly done. Not properly done. We'll come back to that. Weld. Haunch. We'll close that. Right click and redraw that. Now once you've done that, just highlight everything or switch to our isometric view like that. Come to navigate, rotate this. Right click and redraw. Right click again and redraw. Now we want to populate this along this line. We just highlight everything here. Right click, and prior to populating everything here, please note that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 columns, but we have one already done. Now we'll need 9 of them. We'll just right click after selecting everything and come to special copy, and click linear. Once you've clicked, make sure you get the orientation or the direction where you want to populate your truss or the columns to. Now take a look. We have the X and the Y axis. We have the X axis as the most important thing here, but it has been highlighted here as a default axis. Now we'll just feed a distance of 6 meters. Then we need 9 numbers of these. We need 9 of them. That's all. We just go ahead and click copy and wait for it to complete the copying. That's it, and just go ahead and click OK. You're comfortable with that. Right click and redraw. Perfect. This is the truss I was trying to show you on how to come up with a simple truss using lines. It is simple like this, and this just the first presentation of truss, and we'll be happy to continue on the next presentation. But prior to going to the next presentation, I want just to walk you through how this thing has come out. And take a look. The simple one, but this just a quick run on how you can create a truss using lines as a guideline to create a very good truss. This is it. This is the joint, perfectly done. Remember, we've not adjusted anything like bolts. We just placed the default and some offset dimensions from the main member, this bottom chord. Now this is, I'll show you how to link up on the pitch on the next presentation. Just take a look. Perfect. Now thanks a lot for watching this video. Let's meet on the next presentation. On the next presentation, we'll now lay down the reinforcement of the truss. We'll be putting bracings here and purlins, and also the column reinforcement. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I'm your presenter Maurice Dimba. Let's meet on the next presentation as we move on